You have been.
Shooter, Kyle Rittenhouse, he murdered 2 people, by the way.
Rittenhouse is basically what you would have had in a school shooter. He's a 17-year-old kid. He shouldn't have had a gun. He crossed state lines to supposedly protect property. No, he was going out to shoot people.
Kyle Rittenhouse, the 17-year-old vigilante.
Kyle Rittenhouse, a vigilante.
Kyle Rittenhouse, the armed teenage vigilante.
A 17-year-old vigilante, arguably a domestic terrorist, picked up a rifle, drove to a different state to shoot people.
Kyle Rittenhouse, a guy who's deeply racist, went with weapons to a Black Lives Matter protest looking to get in trouble. He did. He murdered a couple of people.
Rittenhouse, the 17-year-old kid, just running around, shooting and killing protesters.
You see the 17-year-old who was radicalized by Trumpism, took his AR-15 to Kenosha and became a killer.
A white, Trump-supporting, MAGA-loving, Blue Lives Matter social media partisan, 17 years old, picks up a gun, drives from one state to another with the intent to shoot people.
A 17-year-old boy who drove across state lines with an AR-15 and started shooting people up, including a guy with a skateboard.
Kyle Rittenhouse, who has killed protesters, unarmed protesters.
Rittenhouse, a 17-year-old that went with a weapon into the middle of protests and then provoked people and then shot and killed them.
Kyle Rittenhouse is the enemy.
A boy from out of state drives up to the state with an AR-15 around his neck, shoots and kills a couple of people, shooting wildly, running around, acting like rent-a-cop.
Drove across state lines armed with a rifle to go and shoot people.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the Kyle Rittenhouse speech in East Tennessee at East Tennessee State University. Kyle Rittenhouse, who defended himself lawfully against a group of attackers trying to protect businesses from robbery, theft, graffiti, and potentially getting burnt down. There are a group of people who are here to protest what Kyle Rittenhouse stands for, Second Amendment folks, or rather people protesting the Second Amendment and saying that he is a murderer. So hopefully we have some good conversations, we debate some folks, who knows. All I want to say is pro Second Amendment, protect our gun rights. He was lawfully protecting himself.
What's your name, man?
Logan.
Logan?
Yes, sir.
What are you here for?
To listen to Kyle Rittenhouse speak.
What do you think about the Kyle Rittenhouse situation?
I think in the end, the court made the right decision. I think there's a lot of misinformation about the whole thing, but all in all, I think Kyle Rittenhouse was actually a good person in the right.
I agree. We came tonight anticipating there being a bunch of protesters, and I don't see any.
Yeah, I don't either.
We're hoping that they show up, but what were your thoughts on the BLM movement as a whole?
As a whole, I think I got to go with kind of the classic answer of I agree with the statement, but not necessarily the group. I think the group is a little radical sometimes.
I agree. I agree completely. Have you looked into the finances of Black Lives Matter?
A little bit, but not a lot. I know a lot of their money has gone towards basically like, I guess, their presidency, or so to say, their leaders, and kind of buying things like mansions for them and stuff like that.
Exactly. Private jet flights. Essentially, no money went towards the black movement, or rather, Black lives in general.
See what it's about more than anything. Not really for or against anything at this point. I'm just curious.
What do you think about the entire Kyle Rittenhouse situation as a whole?
Honestly, I think it's blown out of proportion.
I agree. So when it happened, what were your thoughts?
What the hell is going on?
What were your thoughts as the Black Lives Matter movement was growing by the day? What were your thoughts about the entire movement?
Honestly, just confused by the increasing storm of everything. Just seems like it's more just dividing us more than anything.
Right. When this case went to trial, what did you think would happen?
I mean, in my opinion, he was defending himself, so I figured it was justified. So I didn't really think he would be found guilty. And yeah.
Oh. What's your name, by the way?
Riley.
Riley? Nice to meet you, Riley. Kaylin, what were your thoughts about the entire Kyle Rittenhouse situation?
So I followed the case as it was going on. And I'm very much a Second Amendment right. Like, it's for us. We should protect it. I think it was a good display of how the judicial system should be working in self-defense cases. So yeah.
When someone approaches you with gun control, what do you say?
It's a tricky subject to get into. I'm not as well versed in the matter as I'd like to be, but there's a lot of gun control movements that people talk about that I don't think they understand exactly what they're talking about. If you look at some of the things that have been happening in Congress, they were getting rid of bump stocks or pistol braces, and a pistol brace is not a stock. It is just a brace that wraps around the forearm, and it stabilizes the shooter's arm. It is not a stock, and it doesn't increase the rate of fire on the weapon.
So you don't think bump stocks were ever going to contribute to mass shootings?
No, I think pistol
mowing
braces.
people down.
Pistol braces, I think, don't need any kind of bill on them because it just stabilizes the shooter's arm. Bump stocks, I do agree, will increase rate of fire if used properly. And I'm pretty sure they were already regulated. If I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they were already regulated.
But with the vast majority of mass shootings being from pistols, you don't think that would make it worse?
It potentially could. I'm not saying it wouldn't, but I don't
think it matters. I was just asking. So when you watch the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, and after the months of calling him a terrorist, what did you see in the country?
A lot of division. Yeah. It's crazy how politics have divided this country.
And I'll tell you, if you go follow my X account, you'll see this graphic. When you look and you see what happened with the news coverage from 2012 to today, prior to 2012, white supremacy, white privilege, and racism went prior to 2012 in the most exponential fashion you could have ever imagined. That would tell you why we have such a racial divide in the country.
Yeah. I think you also need to pay attention, though, to the BLM movements and how they've gotten out of control.
Yeah.
Not just focus on one color.
Exactly.
No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace!
Thank you. We don't want that. Can you all, anyone, you tell me why you're here?
Killers on campus?
I'm sorry? Can you all tell me why you're here?
Because Kyle Rittenhouse is a murderer and he hasn't graduated community college, so I don't understand why he's speaking at a higher education university.
Did you graduate community college?
No, I have an undergraduate and master's degree.
Oh, good job.
Thank you.
What do you think about this whole entire thing?
it's a bunch of hokey baloney.
What about it is hokey baloney?
Because he's a murderer.
He's a murderer, and it also shows that we care more about attention to horrible people than actually injustices that are happening in this country and within institutions themselves.
What injustices would you be referring to?
Oh God, racism, sexism, the fact that like I have to worry about getting shot every time I go into a public building.
What do you think contributes to the racism and sexism?
People like Kyle Rittenhouse.
People who support people like him. The fact that institutionally think
racism and sexism and general bigotry.
Yeah, I'm a sociology professor, so I got a lot of answers.
What would you all say as an example for that sexism, racism, and bigotry?
The fact that Kyle Rittenhouse went to a different state, hunted down 2 men and murdered them, and then he's now acquitted. That would be institutional racism at work.
Do you think that there was any component of self-defense?
No.
Fuck that.
He went somewhere where he was not supposed to be and shot 2 people dead.
If you
Hey, don't
were
get it fucked up. Protesting is a First Amendment right, and to threaten that in any context is 100% un-American. You heard it here first. Fuck all that shit. This is our right, and no one's gonna take that shit away from us.
If you were to be chased down by someone with
fuck
a
the
brick,
hypotheticals.
Oh,
fuck
dude,
the hypotheticals.
we're women, so
absolutely
that's
not.
our life. Like,
yeah, so I would support your ability to defend yourself if someone had a brick and a gun.
Anti-gun protest.
Brother, you
We're
got
not
the-
anti-gun.
I don't think that.
We are anti-Kyle Rittenhouse, a fucking murderer.
So where I would dispute that, not that I don't think that that is an absolutely valid point to have, for sure.
My brother.
What
here's the
matters
thing,
is
we are
law and
here,
order.
We are here for a protest. You're
Black
not
lives
gonna
matter,
detract
and that's
from
the end
that.
of the discussion.
Absolutely, they do.
Here's the
Absolutely.
thing.
I agree completely.
I think that we've answered enough of your questions and conveyed all that we want to convey. So I think we need to use our voice to do some good old-fashioned shouting.
I think you should too.
What
I
are
think we
you-
should.
Can I ask you what you're interviewing for?
Oh, I'm just interviewing because I care about our country. I care about racial equality. I care about all the same things
So if
you
you care
do.
about racial equality, why don't you out here with us? Well, I guess
I
you are out
don't think
here.
I don't think Kyle Rittenhouse had any racial inequality in mind. I don't. And hey, I don't. And if he did, I wouldn't support his beliefs. I wouldn't support what he did.
This is
But
what democracy
for
looks like.
you, just like myself, I would prefer that you would be able to defend yourself
Show me what
if
democracy
someone
looks like.
threatened your life.
Really? Show me what
I do.
democracy looks
Absolutely.
like.
If you want us to defend ourselves, then you should support actions to go against institutional racism, sexism, where we have to worry about these
Absolutely.
things all the time. So of course we need to say our words, use and protest against people that are the poster child for these problems.
What I have a major concern with is how.
We're done here. Go find someone else.
Hey, we're having a good conversation.
I feel like
I
you
only care
are
about
not
that.
coming in good faith, though.
I promise I am. I want to find common ground with everyone.
We can't find common ground with racists.
Do you
There is
think
no
I'm a
common
racist and murderer?
I didn't say you were, but Kyle Rittenhouse is, and
And-
we cannot find common ground with that.
And where did you get that from? Because
You're not making any valid points. You're tired at this point.
He's here to talk about the lies of Black Lives Matter.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what this is. This is real. Black Lives Matter.
I have the data.
Black Lives Matter.
Black lives do matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black lives.
Lives Matter.
Black lives do matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Hey, it's the organization that I have the problem with.
Okay, well that's good, but just don't,
Hey,
defend yourself. That's all I'm saying.
I wouldn't, and I never would. But the organization of Black Lives Matter hasn't done anything for Black lives. It's the organization that is the
That's why you're
problem.
not in good faith. because that's what you think.
Well,
Usually we're like conservatives get like a microphone and talk to like college students that look the most oblivious.
The reason
I promise you, I promise you, I am in no way oblivious. I'm well researched, well read.
I'm not talking about you. I'm saying people. No offense, but people like you usually get on a microphone, look to the most.
Look, there aren't many people like me because I want to have a conversation with people and find how we agree.
Okay.
And if there's information you don't know that I do or you don't, or that you know and I don't, I'm willing and happy
It's
to
not
accept
your
it.
time. You're taking away from your shit, and we're done.
Yeah, seriously. Everyone out here. So glad to see everyone marching. I will not be tolerant of other people's intolerance. That's all.
Come on.
Younger. I just love to see everyone out here. Hopefully, we've got everyone in now. We didn't lose anybody, I hope. It was kind of a trek. That ramp is the devil. I believe it.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's awful.
I ran it.
Anyway, like I said, we have a lot of wonderful speakers. And up next for speaking is Dennis. Give it up for Dennis. Come on up, come on up.
All right.
What's your job?
Hey, all right, everybody. Great to see everybody here. And yes, my name is Dennis Prater. He and pronouns. I am a member of Northeast Tennessee DSA and United Campus Workers, which is Tennessee's higher education, public sector, faculty, and staff union. I'm here in a personal capacity. We haven't had an official vote as the ETSU chapter, but I can tell you that I know a lot of our members don't like what is happening here. And I mean, for me, this situation, and the reason that I'm out here right now, it really has everything to do with just like basic common decency. That really is, because what's happening is not decent. And why I'm here has to do with basic morality just that everyone should have. Because why do we know Kyle Rittenhouse's name? There's only one reason. That is because he killed people. People who had done nothing to him. And he's a murderer. He's against common decency. And that's why I'm out here, because you got to stand when people are letting something like this happen. I'll tell you what, it shouldn't be me out here right now, though. It should be university administration. The decision makers. Okay, let's say this. All right, they say that, well, we have to let them come. It's the law and that kind of thing. Okay, for the sake of argument, let's just say they're right. For the sake of argument, even so, they could say they don't like this. They could speak up. They could speak up. They didn't say anything as far as I know. And we deserve for them to say something about what has been brought to our community. We deserve it. And they do have a responsibility to say that. If they're going to exercise leadership, they have a basic moral responsibility to say this is not right. And you can say that no matter what. Does it offend their sense of decorum? This is against decorum, what's happening right now. Because the university is giving money to a person whose name we only know because he killed people who had done nothing to him. He has tried to monetize this situation from the very beginning, and now he's made ETSU part of that, and it is disgusting.
Why did ETSU cancel the gay men's course?
I don't know, Carlene. You tell next. But anyway, so he's been trying to monetize this. Okay, for example, he created this video game where you're shooting and killing reporters and journalists. For example, he tried to monetize that. Yeah, they call it Kyle Rittenhouse's turkey shoot. Yeah, look it up, y'all. Yeah. It really is bad what's happening right now, and we deserve for it to be the administration saying something, but it's not. So we have to be out here saying that we value life because so many don't. Apparently, they throw people away. just like here, just like in Gaza, whatever, right? So, we are here in solidarity. We're here to affirm life and each other. And let me tell y'all, I just want to talk for a second because I think it's really important for us to speak about strategy with each other, because we know that we're in this fight now against fascism, and we have to. It's good to talk strategy with each other, right? So I'll just say a couple words because I know I'm about done though. So one thought is, I know other folks are going to be up here, and and they're going to say to vote, and voting's good. I'm going to vote, but let me tell you what though, if that's all you do, then we will not win. Right. And that's the proof. Look, some people say, look, if voting didn't do anything, they wouldn't be trying to take people's votes away, and they are. But voting has never been everything in any history of the movements that we know. So, we got to do more than that, and what it means is we got to organize. Means making whether it's DSA, United Campus Workers. Got limited time and personal capacities, so figure out what can work in your life. Where does it fit in your life to connect and organize, right? Some can do more, some less. We have different life situations. The other thing is we've got to always try to be learning. If anybody ever talks like they don't have anything to learn to you, then you can pretty much quit listening to that person. So we all have to learn, and we've got to learn together, I just want to talk for a second about sources of strength for us in this, as we face these struggles. And one for me definitely is the people who have come before. I look back there, I definitely pull strength from understanding and from thinking about what those have done for us who've come before us. We can pull strength from each other and give each other strength. It's so important to be good to each other, y'all. And also, just being mean is bad organizing, so let's be good to each other, and finally,
We don't do that lip show.
yeah. All right. So I'm done now. Let's do. I got a little chant. This is one. Just can we do a little one? It's what do we want? Crash this out. When do we want it? Now. We're gonna alternate. Yeah. What do we want? Crash this out. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Crash this out. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Crash this out. When do we want it? Now. All right. Thanks, y'all.
I don't know you, man. I'm with the cause. I'm with the cause.
I know, but we have a list of people.
Well, it's like 3 seconds. I just want to say I support the cause, and that's about it. Kyle Rittenhouse was found innocent on all charges and had no agenda to murder anyone. You have been misled by all the media. Misled! Misled! Yeah! Misled! Lights are getting weak. All right, I'm done. I had to say it. Wait a second.
Yes.
You're kidding me, dude. Are you serious? This is the most ironic. I've never seen something so ironic happen in my life. Well, it's good to see you again, man.
You too.
through fist bump.
Gosh. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you all for being patient. Those of you who have been messaging me on X, texting me. There were quite a few people that I met at the rally. If you're watching, thank you for being patient as well. It is something that I have spent a lot of time working on. It should have been a very quick process. I should have been able to take the footage, edit it, and post-process it, and color grade it. I used Apple Log, ProRes Log, which looks great. I just didn't change the white balance, or I had it locked, rather, and everything was overblown and overexposed. And so if you look in the footage, or from the footage that you just watched, it's taken time to salvage that, and I truly regret it taking 5 days to get this out, but a lot of hard work went into it. I am extremely thankful for the people who came up to me after, and I'm thankful for you all that are tuning into this. We're going to continue to do things like this. We're going to continue to go to events, and we're going to interview and debate protesters, just like you just saw. Hopefully we can infiltrate and get the megaphone in more of these protesting events. So, in closing, Kyle Rittenhouse was found innocent on all charges. The media created a narrative about him that he was a terrorist, a white supremacist, a murderer, a vigilante who went to Kenosha seeking blood. They tried to ruin a 17-year-old kid's life before they had any evidence. And we're seeing this more and more often, that if you aren't on their team, they will stop at nothing to ruin your life until you apologize, and then apologizing is worse than the action itself, if you were ever even in the wrong. This is the first of many. Boots on the ground is what we're trying to do. I have several good friends, some of which you saw in the video, some that you will see in the future. Tony, my friend Tony, is the person who videoed all this, and he put a lot of hard work and effort into sticking with me the whole time and trying to get good angles. So at the end of the day, this is a fight for freedom against tyranny, and we're trying to be on the front lines. What this is a war for information, a war against information, and a war of censorship. We have to fight it as much as we can and give up never. Thank you guys again. American Archer, out.